Make sure we're on and working.
I've used this before.
Everybody wants to sit with kids.
Hello, everyone. I meet the most interesting people in the world right here in front of Angelina's Pizza in beautiful downtown Key West, Florida. That's right. I'm Kit Carson, the Earl of Pizza, and I talk to rock stars, heroes, and gods. It's what I do. And tonight I have a fine gentleman with me. I was going to say young man, but he might not like that.
I was.
Well, when I met you, you were a child.
Used to be.
Yeah, we were both children.
You were a child, too.
What were we, like 12?
Yeah, well,
Thinking that we
15.
could be rock stars and bar people?
Old enough to cheat drinking.
Yeah, right?
At the time.
So, what is your name, sir?
Rick Peterson.
Rick. What is your claim to fame?
Well, when you got here,
Yeah.
with Mark Rossi and Vince Walton,
Yep,
we played at Dirty Harry's
that's right.
Lounge for quite a while, actually, before that. Vince Walton came down there, said you guys had got this place at Rick's, right?
Yeah.
And basically told us we were going to play up there.
You're going to play upstairs Rick's.
Yeah,
That was somewhere in 1985.
it's right around there.
March
Yeah.
of 85,
Yeah.
somewhere in that area?
Sure.
So, but you grew up here, and not really here.
I in Key Largo. I
You
graduated
grew up
high
in
school.
Key Largo.
Yeah.
You were a Key Largo kid.
Yep.
And so you had a band in the mid-'80s,
Early 80s, too.
early 80s.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know when you guys got together. When did you guys get together? I mean,
81, I graduated high school, and we started playing all of the keys, really. But Key West was always the best. You know,
Yeah,
to get
right.
down here. Now, at that time, some people might remember, I hope, Mike Blatt, that owned Dirty Harry's
Yeah.
at the time. So we
Absolutely.
played for Mike for a few years before Vince came down, but
Yeah.
he had big plans. So Vince said, "Look, I'm gonna pay you double what Mike's paying you.
Right.
Can you come play now?" And so we started
it's kind
playing
of a
at Rick's.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
So the band was from Isla Morada,
Yeah.
and it was a bunch of high school kids. Bye, Mom. There goes Mom. So the band consisted of,
Myself.
you were lead singer,
Yep. My brother, Robin Peterson.
Robin, he was the bass player,
Yep. Steve Miller on guitar.
Steve Miller on guitar,
Kevin McKee
Kevin McKee,
on guitar.
he was on guitar,
Yeah. And Mike McGee
Mike McGee.
was our drummer. Yeah. That time.
It seems like yesterday, and then when I stopped to think about it, it
It's
seems
100 years ago.
150 years ago. I could barely remember. We were all so damn young.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
good time though. You guys played together for what? 7, 8 years?
Yeah. Right until 91.
91, so
Yeah,
10 years.
We wrapped it up in 91. Yeah.
Well, everyone at that point in time was starting to try to figure out how they could.
Club circuit was starting to dive down for the big bands. You know, the large. We had a road crew too, so there was.
Yeah.
You know, there's 8 of us traveling, and you gotta work pretty steady to keep that kind of thing rolling.
It's a
on the road,
monster.
you know? Yeah.
It needs to be fed.
Yeah, it does.
Where did y'all play other than here?
We played Miami. We played some places in the Upper Keys,
Yeah?
and eventually all of the Southeast. Really, later on,
Yeah.
late 80s.
Like in the late 80s, y'all got
Yeah.
on that circuit. Who was
Yeah.
your agent?
Yeah, we were working with Rick Young
Rick
at
Young?
Omni Talent. Yeah,
Omni Talent?
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
yeah.
Wow. When they out of
It was
Orlando?
Good times. It was good times. Yeah, he's in Orlando.
Wow. Haven't heard
So-
that name in a long time.
So I'm surprised
Wow.
I could remember it. But I
Me
did.
too.
So when you guys first took over at
Yep.
Rick's, we played the first, I believe we did 8 or 10 weeks when they first opened.
Yeah, that was like, yeah.
So the ceilings of this place hadn't been redone.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and the steel was not, the reinforcement wasn't there.
There was no steel.
So,
It was 1880s wood.
right, yeah. So when the kids start dancing,
Uh-huh.
spring break,
Yep.
the whole building was bowing in the middle.
The whole building was, yep. Stand across the street and watch it go like this. And it literally was moving about 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah,
You could see it.
Yeah. So
you
the,
could see it.
well, at that time we stacked the PA systems up And when it was falling over, we had to eventually strap it down with truck
Because it kept
straps.
falling.
Yeah, to keep it from hitting the floor, because that was
That's
good times. We all survived, though.
We all survived
Nobody
it.
got hurt.
You sometimes wonder how, but God was on our side, I guess.
No one injured.
No one injured. What a good time, though. And
Yes.
I'm going to get this probably wrong, but you used to hang a banner on the over the railing.
Yeah.
Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
And there was a movie that came out somewhere in the 80s.
I can't tell the name. I don't know it.
I think it was Blue Velvet or something.
I've been told about it, and somebody did show me this.
I
but-
know this. I think it was a movie called Blue Velvet that came out like 1986 or 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And it starts, I believe it starts off with the main character on a bus ride to Key West from Miami.
Yeah.
And it's like early in the morning, and you see this bus traveling down, and then it all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's on Green Street, and it turns the corner onto Duval Street, and Rosetta, now playing tonight, Rosetta Stone, or a
So
period.
that's how Rosetta Stone got in the movies. Yeah, that's
was-
the way I remember it too. But
that was it.
I've been told it. I hadn't seen the movie.
I saw it, but that was so long ago, I'm not even sure if my memory is real.
Yeah.
But that was it. I think it was
Interesting stuff. Anyway.
Black Velvet, Blue Velvet,
It was
something.
one of those velvets.
And I don't even know who was in it.
who was in the thing either.
But we'll figure that out.
But they've shot a lot of movies down here since. I know that. A lot of different.
Tons. So I'm going to go back to the band real quick, just because I know there's a lot of people out there that still remember you guys.
That'd be nice.
Give me a little rundown of what happened and where everybody is. A condensed version. You don't have to get too involved.
All right. Well, I unfortunately have not seen our drummer Mike McKee in quite a while, since the early '90s.
Right.
Steve Miller, right now, actually battling cancer.
Yep.
Fortunately, up in Key Largo. My brother Rick Peterson actually just retired. He was in tech field for over 20 years, well over 20 years.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Where does he live?
He's playing with his grandchildren now, and and not a lot else. Right?
Where is he? Is he up in Alamorada?
He's in Roanoke. He's in Virginia.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, he's up there.
Nice.
And we know we may know that Kevin. We lost Kevin a few years back.
Yep.
But
He was a Keys kid for certain.
oh yeah. His dad, Art McKee, was the original treasure salver.
Art
He
McKee was the man.
He was the guy.
I remember Kevin telling me, when I just need some money, I just go to a couple of spots and dig up a couple of things and go sell them.
Pull up a coin here and there.
Yeah, and he knew where they were,
He had
man.
pieces of eight all over the place. He was
Well,
like a squirrel hiding these things right
was.
around his house.
Well, I'm pretty foggy on this memory, but you guys had played Rick's the night before they found the mother lode. And some of the guys, and I can't remember who it was in talking to, there was a handful of us.
Yeah.
And they said to Kevin, we found this, we found that. And he basically just said, you are right on it. Go back and look tomorrow, and it'll be right there.
That
And he
would have
was
been
right.
Kane. That would have been Kane Fisher saying,
Yeah.
go right back to the same
Yeah,
spot.
that was exactly right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know it didn't happen exactly like that, but it was pretty damn close to like that.
Kevin telling me about a pile of bricks.
Bricks.
That they thought were ballast.
Right.
He said, we're near a ballast pile, so we know we're really close. They went back and scraped those bricks.
Right.
And it turned out to be
They
silver
were
bricks.
silver
Yeah.
bars. They weren't bricks at all. 400 years of sitting
Yeah.
in the bottom of the ocean,
Yeah.
you couldn't tell what they were, but they were right on top of it. Kevin knew because
Pretty incredible.
his
Yeah.
dad was the demo man, and he knew. His dad knew.
His dad had worked in the Navy when they were putting the road back together in the 40s.
Yeah.
Coming right back down the Keys. And he had been marking some positions, where he was seeing things down there. He's one of these
He knew what was going on.
these divers in the big brass helmet, right?
Yeah.
Down there.
He was one of those guys.
Doing work for the
That's-
Navy, but
That was pretty crazy. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's fortunate.
Yeah.
Now we originally rehearsed, in fact, up in Alamorada, where there's a building there. It's now a school. I forget the name of the school, but at the time in the early '80s, this building was empty, people may know if you drive up the Keys in Plantation Key, it looks like a castle.
Yeah.
Literally looks like that used to be Art McKee's treasure museum.
That was it.
And then he closed it up. And
when I first came down, that's what it was.
We just used it for a rehearsal place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that was our hangout. Yeah.
The castle.
It was a good time.
Yeah, that was.
Really good time.
That's funny, man. So, and you're up in Orlando now?
Actually, we're in New Smyrna Beach.
New Smyrna Beach.
Yeah, we're about 20 miles south of Daytona on the East Coast.
Yeah. And you're up there selling, you're still working.
I am still working.
Yeah?
I'm trying not to.
Don't say it like that.
Yeah, I'm an audio technician. I work and do corporate events mainly.
Yeah.
Design and operate sound systems for corporate events.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's funny being that I stayed here and I watched all these bands come through here. Over the 30 plus years, I'll see a member or two come through. And it's funny, with every band, there's always like one that still stays in the music world somehow.
Yeah.
You know, whether they're playing in a lounge act or they're doing sound or lights or you know. And then there's a lot of them that went into oddly enough, pharmaceutical reps.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Did you do that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, who would have thought? They don't know what they don't.
Actually had license for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I don't. You know, back in those days, you didn't need a license. Then when they started requiring it, things got different. You know.
Yeah. You know, it's funny how this street really doesn't look much different than it did in the early '80s.
Right.
But it's a lot different.
Isn't it funny?
It's quite a lot
different. The names have changed. Yeah. The faces have changed.
Right? Yeah.
Some of the games are still the same, but it's different. It's just different.
It's true.
You know?
It's true. I wouldn't say better, worse. It's a lot different. It was a different place back then. We used to get rained on upstairs at Rick's.
Yep.
When the band was playing during a storm, yeah, you'd get wet. That's all. It was open air.
We had those curtains up there for a while.
Yeah, we tried, but it was open air all the way up there.
And then I think we got in enough trouble that they let us close it in.
Yeah.
Or partially closed in.
Yeah, keep the noise down.
Yeah, that was all about the sound ordinance.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting time. So sticking with the Key West theme, tell me one of the craziest nights you remember here.
Boy.
Do you remember?
Well, remembering is the hard part, but
the building about to collapse.
The place was pretty wide open then. I mean, people just did what they wanted, and I can remember the first few Fantasy Fests even. There was a lot of memorable times, and a lot of times I don't remember.
Yeah.
I probably should, but I.
Hey, I'm kind of with you on that. There's times and there's things where I just don't quite remember exactly what was going on. You know, it's like, yeah, I was there, but it was pre-cell phone, so you didn't take 1,000 pictures.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and you didn't have to worry about 1,000 pictures either.
You didn't have to worry about it being posted up online.
You got to get it from word of mouth now.
Yeah.
It's like,
did you hear what So-So did last night? No, you're kidding me.
Yeah, here, I'll show you
now
1,000 pictures.
Let's show them. They were passed out at the bar.
Yeah.
You know, doing something inappropriate again.
I remember a lot of nights hanging down here with Mel Fisher, sitting downstairs Rick's.
Yeah.
Drinking at that bar. Yeah, there was a lot of good times down here, for sure. I love it down here. It feels like home still.
It still does.
Yeah.
Famous people, other than Mel Fisher.
Yeah.
Who did you run into?
We were playing upstairs one night, and my brother says, "Hey, I think that's Brian Johnson, AC/DC, that just walked in." And I thought, nah. Had a look at him, so we finished the song, and we stayed quiet for a second. I said, "People tell you look like Brian Johnson all the time, right?" So he kind of put his hat down like this and went to the back of the bar. So later on, somebody came up and tossed a napkin onto the stage, and it says, "I like the job you lads are doing with the songs. Keep it up. If you're ever playing where we are, mention Key West, I'll remember Brian Johnson, AC/DC," and he took off.
Didn't he live in Tampa?
Yeah, at the time he was, I believe it was his fiance he was with, and they were building a place in Tampa.
She came down here a lot. I met her
I've heard this. Yeah.
I met her like half a dozen times.
Yeah.
You know,
the rest of that story was the next night we were off work. We weren't playing. Myself and the guitarist at the time were walking down the street, and here comes Brian Johnson with his fiance. He says, "Oh, it's the lads from last night. Come have a drink with us."
Right.
So we went around the corner. I forget what little bar it was. Nobody there but us and Brian Johnson bringing us beers all night. We're like, can you believe this?
Only in Key West. And back in those days, it happened.
It was great.
It happened a lot more. This kind of killed it.
What a fantastic guy.
But
yeah, really cool.
That was very cool. That's one of those lifetimes that you'll never ever forget.
For sure. Yeah, had a lot of lucky mishaps like that.
Right.
Encounters. So.
Well, in those days we had a lot more celebrity types coming through here. It seemed like.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean,
you never know who you're going to see walking down the street, right?
No, you never quite knew. I mean, and they still sometimes pop around, and you're kind of like, oh wow, it's part of why we live here, and it's part of why they come here.
Yeah.
You can get away with doing whatever you want.
There's really no place like the Florida Keys. It's a unique place, and with my work, I've been able to travel all over the country.
It is somewhat different than.
Yeah, it is. It's unique. There's nothing really like the Keys. You got to come here to experience it, to feel it. Just to drive down the Keys too. Just the whole thing. It's a great experience. That's why I keep coming back too.
I got chastised earlier for wearing a sweatshirt, but look, he's wearing long sleeves. It's a little cool out here tonight.
Hey, for Florida boys, it's a little cool. Yeah.
Well, I said a while ago it was 2 degrees above freezing.
Oh.
And it is. It's 2 degrees above freezing.
Right.
It's 71 degrees.
Key West freezing.
Yeah, well, freezing's anything below 70. And here we are.
Yeah.
71.
Nice.
So, I mean, that's cold for us. And it's windy.
Yeah. You might have to get back in the peace ovens.
I will. As soon as I'm done, I'll go stand by there for about 10 minutes and warm up.
Warm up a little bit.
Absolutely. I will. Without a doubt. So what's going on in your life right now?
We just bought a new house.
I've known Rick for 37 years.
My wife and I just bought a new house.
You bought that over the summer, didn't you?
Yeah, no, we just closed actually last week. We just closed that one. And we've got a lot of work to do.
Okay.
It's going to be a really nice house. It's got great bones, but it's going to need some love. So,
honey, this house is perfect.
So we'll be heading back there.
3 months later, you're $100,000 into a renovation of a bedroom.
Yeah.
I get you.
We'll be going into that as soon as we get home. So this was kind of our last little blowout here. We'll be probably not down for about 6 months or so, but
and you're in New Smyrna Beach?
We'll be busy. Yeah.
Are you doing some of the work, or are you letting people do it?
I'm going to do what I can, but we've actually got guys demoing it. They've been sending my wife pictures down, every couple of days. Here's more. We did more. Like, oh, good.
Hey,
those walls don't exist anymore.
I'm still renovating my house. Yeah. I've lived in it for 32 years.
They're never done.
They're never done. You're never done.
You got to keep working.
Well, I just realized the other day, so our house is, it's in 2 parts. There's the new part that was done in the 70s, and then there's the old part. There was an old sunshine house, right? So after Hurricane Wilma, we renovated our back bathroom.
Yeah.
And in the last 3 years, we've been renovating the front part of the house. It's been like a 3-year project. Well, I'm taking a shower the other day, and I realized, this bathroom is 25 years old. Older.
Feels like you just did it.
And it's like, oh shit, we're going to get finished up front. We're going to have to turn around and come back here to the back.
Your wife will remind you. This isn't new.
Maybe.
Time to fix this again.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends on. Yeah, she'll remind me. But it was me that actually saw it the other day and go, uh-oh, the towels are starting to come off and it's starting to have some problems. And I can't believe it's been that damn long.
Yeah.
It's 20 years.
It's fun adulting, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a thrill a minute. And the hits just keep coming.
A lot simpler in the 80s when we just, what are you gonna do? Yeah, what are you gonna do tonight?
I got
play. Hey,
I got $27. What do you want to do?
Yeah, right.
Let's go to Drink and Drown.
Good time.
And get up and go to work tomorrow.
Right. right, everything's shutting down. We head out to the Broken Chicken.
Oh my God! How many times do you think you went to Broken
See
Chicken?
the sun come up?
How many times did you think you went
More
there?
times than I want to admit, but
Right.
I'm sure it was dozens for sure.
Who
Yeah.
was the strangest person you ever saw in there?
Oh boy.
Well, they were all strange at that time.
Yeah, that was a.
But I remember seeing a lot of people out there.
Yeah,
a
that's.
lot.
Yeah, that's where you ended up if you weren't going to sleep yet. You know.
Yeah, if you weren't going to sleep yet.
It was the 80s, folks.
Yeah.
The 80s.
Yeah, the Peruvian marching powder had you going, and so you were going to keep
You
going.
ended up with a Broken Chicken.
You ended up with a
and
broken.
then here comes the sun, right?
And if you didn't have your sunglasses on, you were a novice, an amateur.
Oh boy.
You had to have your glasses.
And the musicians and those, we're walking out with our eyeliner on, right?
Yeah. Your hair's still
Good
teased up.
guys, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And people going to work were going,
Right?
what the?
Yeah. What is that?
This town's going to hell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, they were good times. That's all, I'm glad that we lived to tell about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I
glad that we're still here.
wouldn't change it for anything. Not change it for anything.
I don't think I would change anything at all, really. I mean,
Yeah.
I've enjoyed every bit of it, and I'm of the belief that there's still a lot of great things to happen here.
Oh yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, you should have been here in the day. No.
No.
Those were great times, and they
no.
were awesome, and we lived to tell about it. But there's still a lot of
These are
great.
still the days. Yeah, for
3
sure.
years from now, we're going to look back at this and go, "Oh my God, how young were we, and all the fun we were having
Right.
at that time." That's just the nature of it, and I'm excited for it. I'm
Just
good.
keep feeling young. We'll be good.
Keep it up. Well, enjoy that new house.
Yeah. We will for sure.
Next time you're back in town, I want to update.
We're gonna have you up next time you
Yeah.
come to Central Florida.
Well, I keep thinking about going up there.
Yeah.
I don't know really why, but I just need to go up there.
You should. We're gonna need about 6 months to get this place together,
Well-
and we'll be ready for guests.
You know what I would really like to do? I'd really like to do a drive around Florida, and just go.
What else can you do? It's perfect. It's like the kind of thing
my wife has never been to the Panhandle,
Yeah.
and I
yeah.
tell her those are some of those beautiful beaches in the world.
Right.
And I own a freaking condo in
Absolutely.
I own a condo in Fort Walton Beach, and I've never been.
Yeah.
I've been, but I haven't been to the condo.
Yeah.
But I would. One of these years, I'd like to just pack it up and take a road trip and just see some things, in Florida. And along the way, stop and see some friends.
Hey, the whole country's fantastic for that, but Florida,
Sure.
I think in particular,
Sure.
yeah, it's a great staycation. Drive the state, see everything there is.
I'm
Check
going to do
all
it one
out.
of these days, without
Yeah.
a doubt. Well, anyway, I know you've got the wife over there, and you've got
We have some
plans.
important drinking, I think, that's planned right now.
I know. So before you go away, I have to ask you the pizza shop question of the day.
All right,
You ready?
I'm ready.
If you were a pizza, what kind of pizza would you be?
Oh, now is this a my favorite pizza, or is this what kind of pizza would I want to be? Because
Throw it out
That is
there.
a tough one. That is a tough one.
Do-
I like the veggie myself.
Yeah,
I
all right.
really do.
Yeah,
I like putting everything on it.
Yeah,
all
okay.
all the veggies.
All the
That's my
veggies.
favorite pizza. Anyway.
that is your favorite pizza. There is absolutely no wrong answer here. No wrong answer, and
We'll
I
go
get
with-
some.
Angelinas.
And I get a lot of answers
Yeah.
that are all over the map and all over the board. And this lady over here thinks she knows you and she wants to take your picture. Hi. Oh, I've got to.
Oh, there are new friends. Our new best friends.
So on behalf of
Yes.
Tim and my staff, my guests, I want to thank everybody for watching. Everybody have a great night. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.